So welcome to your last class of the day. The last thing that we're going to talk about today is science, okay? So let me first explain what we're going to do today, okay? I'm going to be mostly talking, okay? I'm going to show you a presentation. You're going to see some pictures, but I'm mostly going to explain why we are watching those pictures, okay? And then at the end, you're going to have two things to do. You are going to have a worksheet to fill in, but it's going to be cut in pictures and pasting them in correct order. And the other thing you're going to have to do, you're going to have to find a measuring tape or something like that, and let me know how tall you are. So you might be wondering what we're going to talk about today. Well, today, and we are going to connect many different things that we talked about before. So as you probably remember, earlier at the beginning of the year, we were talking about how humans, how people, how we change over time, yes? And there are different stages. As time passes by, we grow, we change, we learn new skills, yeah? So maybe when we are born, we can't do much by ourselves, but by the time we start school at 5 or 6, there are already so many things we can do, like riding a bike, reading, writing, walking on our own, doing different things you do in PE, and so on and so on. Okay, and also in our science lessons, we started talking first of all about things which are living and non-living, and those things which are not living, were they never living, or they used to be living, okay? And then we focused a little bit more on those living things, and we were talking last week about where living things can be found. What are their homes? What are their habitats, yeah? So we were talking about animals and plants and humans and their habitats. Well, what we're going to talk about this week, we are still talking about living things, but not so much about habitats. We're going to talk about their offspring. Now, what does this word mean, offspring? Offspring are babies. So, for example, if you have a cat, its offspring is a kitten. A dog, its offspring is a puppy. And for humans, for people, offspring is a baby. Now, all those babies and offsprings, they grow in time. So never mind if it's an animal, a human being, or a plant. They all grow and change in times, yes? And this repeats and repeats. So this is what we call a life cycle. So today we're going to take a closer look at the life cycle of human beings, yes, how we start and which stages we go through. Now, I'm going to, as I said, show you some pictures and tell you something about it, but you have a little task while you're listening to me speak. I want you to think, for every stage that I mention, do you know somebody who is at that stage of their life cycle right now, okay? So let me show you what I have here. Sorry, just a second. Okay, so give me a second. Yeah, I think you can see this. Wow, okay, so here you can see a lovely little, is this a foot? Yeah, these are feet, I think, or hands, I can't see well, of a human baby, okay? So we're going to go through different stages of human life cycle, okay? So, first of all, we all start off as babies, yeah? So as you know, babies are very gentle and tender. When they are born, there isn't very anything they can do on their own. They completely depend on care and protection of their parents and other people surrounding them, yes? So other people need to make sure that they're clean, that they are warm, that they are eating their food, that they are drinking water or milk or whatever, okay? So it says all babies are born helpless, they need a parent to do everything for them, yeah? So do you have any babies in your life? And if you do, how do you help take care of them? Now, after some time passes, let's say maybe a year and a half or two, babies grow to become stronger, and slowly, the more they move, the more muscles they develop. Yeah, they become able to slowly stand up on their own feet and walk. Now, this walk is not like we walk. It's a little bit wobbly, it's a little bit insecure, but when we get to this stage that we are no longer a baby, we are called toddlers. Yeah, so the next stage is a toddler. At about 1 year old, babies start to develop lots of new skills. Yeah, so it's not just that they can now walk on their own and they're practicing how to walk more confidently, they're also learning how to do different things. Yeah, so a toddler might be able is able to take food on its own, a bit better than a baby, definitely, to eat it on its own, okay, to play on its own, and so on and so on. They stop drinking just milk, so babies usually only drink milk, and toddlers already start trying out many different kinds of food. Yeah, so are they now capable of living on their own? Of course not. They still depend on the care of their parents, yeah, who now need to also take a very, very close care about their safety, yeah, because they're now moving more, they could more easily get injured than a baby. So what does a parent have to do to their house to take care of a toddler? Okay, so I'll give you some examples. If you have toddlers in your home, where you maybe remember from when you were toddlers, you might remember that they're that special gate, so they can't just wobble into another room. Maybe the edges of furniture are protected. The sockets have some kind of plugs, so you can't put your finger inside and get hurt. Now, after the stage of toddler comes the stage that you are in. That's right, child. So, child, this is the stage of a life where you are at. Children are aged 3 to 12. Yeah, so you're going to be children for a long time. You started when you were 3 and it goes all the way to number 12. So, what is important when you're a child? This is the time when you learn so many new things. Yeah, you're gaining so many new skills. Yeah, things you can make, things you can do, places you can go, the way you can move your body, things you can do on your own. When you're a child, things are amazing. How you advance. Yeah. Okay, and here it says you have lots of new experiences, like starting school, going on a sleepover, or maybe getting a pet. Now you might even be able to take care of somebody else for a short while with support of your parents. For example, a pet, or maybe you can take care a little bit of your younger brother and sister. Yeah, not full time, but a little bit. Okay. So after the age of 12, we say that the next stage is called being a teenager. So teenager is from 12 to 13 to approximately 12. Now, what happens in this age is that the humans continue growing, but the rate at which they're growing is very, very fast. Yeah, they are finally in the stage from being children and going into adults. Now, when all these things happen in your body, it takes a lot of energy. So teenagers have to eat a lot of food to give their body that energy. And because they're spending so much energy, they actually need to sleep a lot of time. If you maybe have an older brother or sister or cousin who's a teenager, they're probably very often very sleepy. And not only that, that can make them sometimes a little bit grumpy. Okay? So those are teenagers. And then once you stop growing, you're not growing anymore, you've developed completely, you are now in the stage of being an adult. So for example, I'm an adult, and probably, your parents are as well, okay? So what can adults do? Adults can have, most adults can have now children of their own, and a lot of them do have children of their own. So they're capable of restarting their life cycle. Yeah. When you come to the stage of adult, of being adult, you can start over by having babies, yeah? So the thing with adults is that in the stage before that, when they were teenagers, you remember they had to eat a lot, they had to sleep a lot, but when you're adult, this stops a little bit. These changes stop, and adults actually need to take a lot of care about what they're eating. They need to eat healthily, and they need to move, they need to exercise in order to keep healthy. This is our life, this is the stage in our life cycles that lasts the longest period of time usually. And then we often say that after the age of 60, you are something called elderly. Yeah? So elderly people, that is the stage when already your body is getting a little bit older. It's not really working as great as it used to. You're slowing down. Your skin becomes way softer. You have more wrinkles. Yeah? And what happens is that your senses start to slowly get a little bit worse. Yeah? So your hearing might be a bit weaker, your eyes might need glasses for you to feel better, yeah? And also, the thing is that in our bodies, even when we're children, even when we're adults, things change all the time, yeah? They regenerate, they become newer, fresher. But this doesn't really happen so quickly when you're older. So what happens? People, when they're older, they actually shrink a little bit, become a little bit smaller. You can't really see it with a naked eye, but if you measure and you keep on measuring every year, you will see that people, as they get older, they might lose a little bit of their height, just a centimeter or two. Okay, so let's go back once again. Let's see how many stages we had. The first one was a baby, second one, toddler, third, child. Okay, so you've in your lifespan so far did all three of these. You're here, and what's in front of you? Three more: teenager, adult, elderly. Okay, so one more time: baby, toddler, child, teenager, adult, and elderly. Now, what you're going to do is this. You're going to make a timeline. Now, all these things that I'm talking about might sound familiar to you because we did this before in our history lesson at the very beginning of school year, yeah? So what you're going to do, okay, you are going to watch this video and you're then going to try first on your own to repeat these stages, yeah? So, baby, toddler, child, teenager, adult, elderly, okay? You're going to try to remember those 6 words in that exact order, okay? And then to practice that, to make sure you know this really, really well, I've sent you a worksheet. Now let me show you what it looks like. It looks like this, okay? So, this worksheet actually has 4 different papers. You can choose one or you can choose 2. So the first one is in color. Next one is the same but black and white. The third one are ladies because these were all men. And now here are ladies. And the same pictures but in black and white. Okay, so you can choose whichever you want. Okay, let's say I will choose this one, the very last one. Okay, but this here, it's already done in order. Okay, so what you need to do is this. You're going to first cut out these pictures, yeah? Try to read the words teenager, look at the picture, yeah? Child, elderly, toddler, baby, adult. So you're going to cut out the pictures and try to paste them in the correct order. So you're going to start from the beginning. What is the first stage? And then you're going to put all the other stages until you get to the very last one. Elderly, okay? And then when we have our next science Zoom lesson on Wednesday, I would like to see these timelines that you made, okay? And also to hear who you know in your life that right now is living in one of these stages, okay? So that is your first task. The second task is, as I said, to measure your height. Now, why is this important? Why do I want to do this? Well, the thing is, we don't all grow at the same rate. Yeah. So maybe this month you've grown a centimeter. Maybe in the last 6 months you grew 5 centimeters. But another friend could have grown 10 centimeters in that time, or just one. Okay? So we are all growing and changing at our own pace. So, what I want you to do is to send me how tall you are, and then we're going to compare. We're going to try to figure out who is the tallest in the class, who is taller than you, and maybe, who knows, you discover that you have a friend who is exactly the same height as you. Okay, so please prepare that for Wednesday when we have science. And after we've done that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about animals and their offspring. Okay, guys, those were the 3 lessons for today. Do your tasks, you have quite a few, and then I'll see you tomorrow morning live for our Zoom lesson. Bye bye.